citizens and legal immigrants. You talk about the importance of family, while your government is still ruining the lives of families and preventing Muslim inmates in the CMU from seeing and hugging their children. They are not allowed more than one phone call a week to stay in touch with all their relatives. They are taken thousands of miles away from their loved ones. You speak of the nation's values. If you really want to preserve these values, you need to prove to the world that we are a nation of peace and not war. We should send food and medicine to poor countries, not spies and weapons. We should dialogue with other nations instead of threatening them. Mr. President, it is action that will improve the image of our world, not talk alone. Mr. President, if you truly want better relations with the Islamic world, you should end the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan instead of moving them into Pakistan and Iran. Free the imams, the professors, the doctors, and other political prisoners who have been unjustly imprisoned by the previous administration. Support other nations to build their civil societies instead of supporting their dictators and corrupt politicians. You need to allow Muslim communities to donate to charities and encourage them to support the poor and needy instead of accusing them and shutting down their charities. You need to prove to Muslims in this country that they are free to worship in their mosques without being monitored by your secret police. You need to support the just causes in Palestine, Chechnya, Kashmir, and the Philippines, and help Muslims gain their rights peacefully instead of denying them. Finally, Mr. President, we are here to tell you that our nation needs you to immediately stop entrapping Muslims, to stop wiretapping their homes and their mosques, to stop terrorizing and tearing apart families, to bring our sons and daughters in uniform from Muslim countries and to put an end to war, to reveal all the secret evidence used in our courts against Muslims, to close both CMUs. We want you to do what you promised us. We want you to change the course, not stay the course. We need you to fix the errors of the Bush administration. Do you hear us? Will you answer us? Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for standing for justice. I would next like to make a statement for the Dukas of the Fort Dix 5. And when all the Dukas come up, please. Come. I am very honored that the Dukas of the Fort Dix 5 asked me to speak for them. Farid Duka, father of Drayton, Elzevir, and Shane Duka, comes from Albania. When he was a child, the boxes of the food in his school came from the United States. He loves the United States. The United States defended his home of Albania. When Farid was in a refugee camp, he was offered to be sent to Europe, but he did not want to go to Europe. He wanted to come here. He wanted to come here to the United States. Farid told me that if his sons did a crime, that they did something wrong, send them away, put them in prison. But his sons did nothing wrong. Farid Duka had a successful roofing business. His sons worked hard with him. They even put the roof on the mosque for no charge. Now with his 3 strong sons in prison, he struggles with his business. His sons are generous, kind men. They worked hard. They took good care of their families. They helped others. They bought pizza for homeless people. They did what other young men do, go on vacation to the Poconos, and they made a video. And for that, they are serving life plus 30 years in prison. Lata Duka misses her sons terribly. She has put her faith in God's hands. Lata prays every day and every night, and she knows that God will provide. While her sons were in jail, before and during the trial, she was not able to see them very often. Now her sons have been sent to a prison in Colorado, 2,000 miles away. She does not know when she will see them again. Lata Duka has a big heart. Before the arrest, her house would be full of 20 or 30 people. But now, with her sons labeled terrorists, people do not come to visit as much. Except the FBI, who still send planes over their house and follow her and her husband and youngest son. Though the Duca's youngest son was often with his older brothers, he was not prosecuted because he was too young. Lotte and Farrick worry that their youngest son may be next. The prosecution of the Duca brothers, has put a terrible strain on the family. Dryden Duca, the oldest, has 5 children. 5 children! The oldest is only 11. Elzevir has 1 child. There are 6 children needing their fathers. Farrick and Lotte Duca took in their daughters-in-law and all 6 of their grandchildren. Farrick says he has the best daughters-in-law. Dryden's wife, Jennifer, lost their apartment because of the FBI raid and subsequent prosecution. The FBI is not gentle during such raids. Jennifer was afraid her children would see her in handcuffs. How traumatizing for young children to see their mother in handcuffed. The FBI spent $400,000 on the confidential informants, or as I would call them, agents provocateurs, for the sting operation that entrapped the Duca brothers. These informants are criminals. One was waiting to be deported to Albany in connection with the shooting there, when the FBI cut a deal with him to become a snitch. So for all this money, all this effort on this preemptive prosecution, what do we have? We have 3 innocent men in prison in Colorado, 6 fatherless children, 2 wives who lost their husbands, 2 grieving parents, 1 young man missing his brothers, dozens of relatives missing the Ducas, and a terrorized Muslim community. And the larger community left wondering, what has happened to justice in America? If these men were not Muslim, would they be in prison today? No! Of course not! The crime was invented solely by the FBI. The wrongful prosecution of 3 Duca brothers will affect the Duca families for generations. All we ask for is justice. Free the Fort Dix